how much is AI gonna help us solve that in the next couple of years?
AI will help a lot. The models today are already good. They're getting better very quickly, but AI is going to definitely help a lot. I think just to like give an intuition here, right? Like almost like one way of thinking about this is like if you could pick between, let's say, an embryo that has, a 40% risk of something versus a 60 or 70% risk of something, that's a really big difference, right? You're talking about basically lives for each of those percentage points being saved in aggregate. Um, or obviously, if it's a Mendelian variant, it's even more dramatic, right? You're talking about an embryo going from, let's say, 80% risk to baseline 15% risk. I mean, that's pretty unbelievable that you can do that just from the same set of parents. Um, I think that like one thing that's always really important to say is that the models will get better and better and better and better and better and better. They're going to be an amazing tool. Parents are going to use this technology to have healthier children, to give their children the best start in life. Usually people have a family history of something. Maybe it's schizophrenia, maybe it's Parkinson's, maybe it's Alzheimer's. And parents want to do everything they can to basically mitigate their future child's chance. And maybe even a parent wants to, optimize for their child being slightly taller or the like. Um, and even when we apply AI, and this is kind of my key point, because I think there tends to be this narrative. There's two extreme narratives about genetics, okay? One narrative is that there's something called what I call genetic determinism. It's the Gattaca model. Oh, you have this DNA, you're in the underclass. It's crazy, right? Like, no, obviously not. Then there's the other end, which is like, oh, genetics is like horoscope. Kind of what you were like initially asking, like, oh, it's horoscope. Like, you couldn't even tell me my eye color, right? There's like these two really extreme narratives of like determinism and like horoscope. It's like hocus pocus. It's actually in the middle, which is like genetics is useful. It impacts. It's notable. Everyone should know it. It could save your life. It could definitely help your future child, 100%. But it's never going to be everything. But of course not, it's going to be everything. I mean, that'd be crazy, right? I mean, if you live life, you know that there's so much more. There's such a strong nurture component, environmental component, as well to life. And people want to they want to say one or the other. It is a complex function of both. And so I just think it's really important to say to the audience and to level set with people always to say that genetic prediction is going to get better and better and better. And it's going to help you have healthier and, healthier children, give your child the best start in life. And it's also the case that even in its best possible state, it won't be able to perfectly predict something. I mean, it just can't. And again, that's not a bug. That's a feature of reality. That's a feature of nature.
So even with like the most advanced AI model, I won't be able to specify precisely my designer baby to be like 6'5", IQ 183, and I don't know, like whatever features I specifically want, I guess.
Well, there's always going to be stochasticity. So like you could be like disposed to be whatever 6'4", but then if you don't take or even have a high IQ eventually, but if you don't like properly take care of your child, if you don't nurture your child, if you don't do all the things, or by the way, your child could be really smart, really tall, but then they could be an emotional disaster because you abuse them or something and then like that could actually have some complicated impact on because really what parents don't want their kid to be tall, they don't want the kid to be smart. In this, what they really want is their kid to live a fulfilling, happy life, right? Those are proxies, right? It's kind of like actually interesting because it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, which is like when you start a startup, it's like, do you really want your startup to succeed? Of course you do, right? But that's actually a proxy that's part of a subset of the problem of living a good life. And this is actually such an important point. Oh, this is such an important point. In IQ, height, low disease risk, those are proxies for living a good life. I mean, I think if you want to take a good example of really smart people that are a little bit miserable, right? Some of them are unfortunately in Silicon Valley, right? They can be super smart, or actually in like the Ivy Leagues and stuff. They can be super smart, super capable, maybe even tall and handsome, but they're not happy, right? Happiness is so important. The fulfillment is so important, right? These are just proxies. And so I think sometimes like genetics is a good tool. It's a useful tool. It's going to help a lot of parents and maybe eventually help parents to do what you described. But ultimately, I think what people are going to realize is you're just going to have life. Like life is so much more than just the abstraction that is DNA.